All right, fifth grade. Today we're going to be taking a step forward in working with fractions, and this is a pretty big step. We're still going to be working on adding, just like what we did for the other 3 lessons this week. But now, today we're going to be adding mixed numbers together, okay? So instead of getting a mixed number for an answer, we're actually starting with a mixed number. They're going to have like denominators. Well, that's something that we've been working with all this week. All of our fractions have had like denominators. We're going to learn 2 new skills, regrouping and no regrouping. Okay, regrouping and no regrouping. We're going to learn what that is. And of course, here's the tough part. Once we get to the end, we do have to simplify. We do have to simplify. What you're going to see from now on is that we're always going to simplify. On your worksheets, it's going to say express in lowest terms. It means the same thing. All right, let's jump into our lesson today. Okay, let's say that we have the mixed number 6 and 7/9. And we're going to add that to 10 and 5/9. Okay, well, when would I ever do something like this, Mr. Ivan? Well, some of your parents work for the gas company, and they have to work with fitting the correct size pipes together to make sure that the gas flows safely to our house for our stoves and furnaces. And they have to make sure that they've got the right size and that they're combining the right sizes. So they need to work with fractions all the time. Also, when I work on woodworking projects, when I'm building something out of wood, I also need to work with fractions. All right, well, what's the first thing we need to do to add these together? The first step is actually going to be to add the fractions. Now remember, whenever we add fractions, the denominator stays the same until we simplify. So we know that my denominator is still going to be 9. Now let's add the numerators. What's 7 plus 5? 7 plus 5 gets me 12. Good. But wait a minute. Isn't 12 bigger than 9? Yes, it is. We'll figure that out when we simplify. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add the whole numbers. 6 and 10. 6 plus 10 is 16. Okay, guys. Now, when we work on simplifying, today we're working with a task called regrouping. When I regroup, that means what I have to do when I have to regroup when this 12/9 is an improper fraction. So, remember our little doodad we learned before, that to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number, I take my numerator over my denominator, and to convert it, I got the division box. The numerator goes in the box, denominator goes out. My quotient is my whole number, and if I have a remainder, that's my new numerator. Remember, that's just something we've got to memorize and work with. So let's go ahead and start operating on that 12/9, okay? Which one should go in the box? We're going to ignore the 16 for a little bit. Just keep it over here, but don't forget about it. Very good. 12 should go in the box. What should go out of the box? Well, 9 does. Excellent. What's 12 divided by 9? Very good, that's 1. Okay, what's 1 times 9? It's 9, you got it. Now let's subtract. What's 12 subtract 9? Very good, it's 3. So I've got one remainder, 3. All right. Now, how would I write that as a mixed number? Remember, with my mixed number, I've got my whole number right next to the fraction bar, numerator still on top, denominator still on the bottom. Okay, so when I can work that out, let me change colors. so it's a little clearer for you. I now have 1 and 3/9. Okay, now remember, I said don't forget about this 16. Well, if I have 16 wholes and I need to add that to the 1 whole, you're just going to add 16 plus 1. What's 16 plus 1? Very good. 16 plus 1 gets me 17. 17 and 3/9. All right, now you might think we're done yet, but not quite yet, because we have to simplify. Pull out your rainbow fraction chart and look at that and ask yourself, what can 3/9 be simplified? Well, is there a number that can fit inside of 3 and 9? You bet, 3 does. So let's divide this by 3. Let's divide this by 3. And now let's crunch it out. My 17 is my whole number. I'm going to keep that the same. I'm done operating with that. Fraction bar. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Can 1/3 be simplified? Nope. So I finally get my answer of 17 1/3. All right. Now that's a lot of steps. Remember, first we simply added them together, got an answer. We converted that improper fraction. We regrouped it into the 17, and then we simplified. It's a lot of steps, so let's go through that one more time. All right, for this next one, I'm going to say, I'm going to use a big fraction that's probably not on your rainbow fraction tiles. 2 and 2/25 plus 6 and 13/25. Okay, remember, what do I do next? I add. Well, whenever I add fractions, I keep the denominator the same. It's going to be 25ths. Now I add the numerators. What's 2 plus 13? Very good, 15. And now I add the whole numbers. What's 2 plus 6? 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, now you're looking at 15/25 and you're asking yourself, wait a minute, Mr. Ivan, 15 is smaller than 25, so do I need to do this part? No, you don't. This is where we say we don't need to regroup. Remember, part of our big title was regrouping and not regrouping. So in this one, we don't need to regroup. Why don't we need to regroup? Because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Okay, well, if I don't need to regroup, what do? I go right into simplifying. Ask yourself, what number can fit inside of 15 and 25? Very good, 5 does. This is why I had you guys working on those multiplication charts every week for the past month, because you need to be able to think to yourself, 5. Oh yeah, 5 fits inside of 15. 5 times what is 15? 5 times 3 is 15. 5 fits inside of 25. 5 times what is 25? 5 times 5 is 25. All right, so I get 3/5. Am I done yet? No, because remember, I put the 8 aside for a minute, but I'm not done with it. So now I just put the 8 back onto the front of it. 8 and 3/5. And that's my answer. So on this one, I was not regrouping. I simply added the fractions together. Since I don't need to regroup because this number is smaller than this number, I could go right into simplifying. And from simplifying, writing out my answer. All right, guys, you're going to put that into practice on toucan fraction number 10 today.